I am smiling under the mask because my villager and I have this very special relationship, as you can see. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for health, wellness, and social protection. Allow me to recognize, everything's good? Allow me to recognize my colleagues in the Tobago House of Assembly, the lovely women who have joined me here today, Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett, and she is the Secretary with responsibility for health, education, research, and technology. Have a stand so that they see who. Allow me to also recognize Councillor Tashia Boris, who is the Secretary with responsibility for tourism, culture, antiquities, and transportation. Allow me also to recognize our, how do I, listen? Our mommy, yes, auntie within the Tobago House of Assembly, Councillor Sutika Williams, and she's the Assistant Secretary within the Office of the Chief Sec. Assistant Commissioner Nurse, allow me to recognize you in a special way. Why is everyone laughing? Senior Superintendent, allow me to recognize you, to all of the other members of the protective forces that are with us, particularly the women who are within. Miss Bigot, congratulations! I was so happy when I saw her in that outfit the other day. I bring greetings on behalf of the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Assemblyman Farley Chavez Augustine, who unfortunately could not be here today. But that might be a good thing. I find it had too much man talking on the program already. So, hey, why not? So I want to talk a little bit today about our biases, what those biases have been doing to us, allowing us to think a little bit about what biases we are holding on to. And I mean that to all of us. Just think. We are talking today about breaking the biases. We are talking today about gender equality. We are talking today about ensuring that both men and women, boys and girls, have equal status, have equal opportunities, have equal everything. But I want to ask you to take a little bit of time to think for yourself. What are some of the biases that you are holding on to? What are some of the gender biases that you are holding on to? Think about it. Let me give an example. I met a young lady a couple years ago, and she told me that she was an electrician. And my automatic first thought was, an electrician? Really? We have female electricians in Tobago? And then I had to pull back. Why can't we have female electricians? And she came to my house. I insisted that she come and do some work. I kind of needed to prove that she could actually do what she said she was going to do. Again, talking about your own biases. And she came to my house, did what she was supposed to do. It worked. And I found myself again thinking, wow, boy, she's really an electrician. It worked. And then I had to think to myself, but Faith, I thought you were a little bit more progressive than this. I thought that you were a little bit further advanced than this. But it was a real thought that I had about this woman who is a professional in her right, who is doing everything she can do, everything that a man can do, she is there doing it. But I had to check myself. So I'm going to ask you to think about what are the biases that you have been not just holding within yourselves, but teaching your children. When you have your baby boy or your baby girl, do you have an issue dressing your baby boy in the pink? If you see a little baby in a blue anything, do you automatically assume that it's a boy? Let's take that baby up a little bit, a little older. He or she is 3 or 4. They've run like 3 and 4-year-olds do. They've fallen down like 3 and 4-year-olds do. And they start to cry. What do you do? If it's a girl, do you cuddle her hand, bring her and tell her, hey, come and kiss the boo-boo and ting, ting, ting. And what do you do if it's a little boy? Man up. Chin up. What you're crying for? You're a big boy. You're a girl or a boy. Now let's think about that a little bit. The fact that when we address males with any feminine characteristic, it is done as an insult. Think about it. The last time you said to a male, you're a sissy, you're behaving like a girl, it was not a compliment. You were trying to insult him, which means that even within yourself, you honestly don't think that boys and girls are actually equal. Think about it. Now, if that is deep within you, unfortunately, I see that we will be having many of these International Women's Day programs for quite a while, because it is going to take some time for us to get that out of our system. We need to actively work on it. We need to actively decide that that is not how we are going to think. And we need to actually stop ourselves when we do. Now, this is a program for the protective services. And we know that this is the space, I'll be real, this is the space where we have possibly the worst gender bias happening in Trinidad and Tobago. I know. We now have the gender-based violence unit. We now have the child protection unit. But think about it. If we were not biased, we would not need those specific units. If we were not biased, we would not need those units to be specifically trained to do what they are doing. So I'm asking you, think about what your biases are. Really think about them. Think about what you can do to shift the thinking a little bit. Because unless we really do that kind of work, and that is going to be really, really hard work, these ceremonies are going to be exactly that. Ceremonies. Things for we to dress up nice, come and sit down nice, possibly eat some nice food. I hope all you have food. And then go back to our regular lives where the gender biases continue to happen. So unless we are all ready and willing to make those hard decisions, unless we are all really ready and willing to do the work, because it's going to take work, it's going to take a lot of us stopping ourselves in our own tracks sometimes and saying, whoa, did I really just say that, or did I really just think that? And it's going to take us doing the work for each other before we can really say that we have broken the bias, and before we can really say that we have gender equality. But I won't end there. I would end by actually congratulating the Ministry of National Security, because what you've shown today in the drama shows that even though we are not there yet, you have actually started recognizing some of the critical issues. And as my grandmother and great-grandmother, and they used to say, the hardest part is to know. Now that you know, what are you going to do? Again, on behalf of the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, I want to continually show or continually express our commitment within the Executive Council, our commitment within the entire Tobago House of Assembly to continue working with all of our protective services, to continue partnering to ensure that we all do what we need to do to make this right, to commit to having this not be the last of these conversations, but in fact, allowing this to be the first. Thank you, thank you, thank you.